Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Tiger Talks podcast. I'm Sahara, one of your hosts, and I'm a senior this year. And my other host is...
I'm Garrett. I'm a junior.
And today, we're joined by a very special guest, one of Iowa Valley's many English teachers and head speech coach, Mrs. Bowlin. Yay!
Thank you for having me.
So to start this, Mrs. Bowlin, do you want to, introduce who you are and, where you came from? Who is Mrs. Bowlin?
Oh, goodness. Sure. So I came to Iowa Valley. This was my first full-time teaching position. And at the time, I wasn't familiar necessarily with Marengo, but it wasn't too far from my hometown. I grew up in Cascade. And they offered me a job. And at that time, that sounded like a great opportunity. And plus, I would be able to coach speech. And that was part of why I went into English education as opposed to a different content areas, because I also knew I wanted to coach speech, because I thought that was an opportunity that I was able to take advantage of in high school, and I wanted to give that to students as well. So that was 14 years ago, and here we are.
Yeah, and the other half of the Bolins was on this podcast, and he told us that last year he met you here, but you had a different first impression of him than he did you, right?
I think so. I think we just tell the story with slightly different approaches. But the first day I reported for our first day of professional development was actually my birthday. Which having a birthday at the beginning of the school year has always been awkward, because you transition to college and it's oh, it's my birthday, and I started my job and everyone's oh, did you bring us birthday treats? I was like, no, I didn't know how to do, so it's just always awkward. But anyway, so I had that going, but then he showed up kind of late, and he was wearing coaching garb, so athletic shorts, t-shirt, and I showed up first day, I'm professional, trying to be anyway, and I was oh, he's a coach teacher, his primary goal is to coach, which isn't necessarily bad, but I was that's his big thing. And then on the first day of actual classes with students, beginning of the alphabet, we usually have hall duty towards the beginning, but the first day he was talking with students, and somebody tried to walk away and said, no, I'm talking with you, come and make eye contact. I was okay, so he's equal opportunity, he's teaching all these kids. So that's what that was the real impression, was that he was here for the kids from the get-go, and the rest is history, I guess.
Wait, so your room wasn't always right next to each other, so
no,
so I don't even know where was it before.
So I used to be down where Mrs. Meckelson is now, heading towards the shop, and then he started upstairs, where Mrs. Miller is now.
Oh, speaking of that, we posted a TikTok on the broadcast account, the school tours, and it was in the one where they went to Mr. Meckelson's room, and someone commented, Mr. Meck used to be upstairs, and I was
yeah, I saw that.
All my years, he's always been in the same room. I did not know that. I don't know who it was. Someone just commented that.
I think, and this is just I started or revamped our school newspaper and did a few other projects, with history of the school and stuff. So some of I just get pictures that I come across. But my understanding is that there was science upstairs, and the library was where C20 is. There was a lot up there that it's been repurposed. But that was before
I know Mr. Bolin's room was a computer lab. Did you say was yours a library, or was it this one or a different one? So, was the one down here at the library?
C20 is the only previous library that I've heard about. But that might be a question for an Iowa Valley graduate. So
I have no idea. My dad just tells me that he used to have to wrestle in the lunchroom.
It was a true multi-purpose room. Yeah. No, my room, I think originally before the elementary was built, that was an elementary kindergarten room, is what I'd heard from.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yep. And so that's why when you walk in, there's the little closet was the kindergarten bathroom. Oh. And then there's a little coat room. So that's why there's that strange entrance.
Yeah.
But I would argue currently I feel I have the best classroom in the school.
Yeah.
I think it's
that
awesome.
Classroom is just the best for you, because you have that closet is full. You have stuff to put in there, especially speech and drama.
There's always a project.
Yeah,
right?
always.
Your room also kind of just feels bigger than other rooms.
Because it is.
Yeah.
There's space for all the activities. It's wonderful.
The activities of just rocking in the chair during class.
If that keeps you, yes. You're awake though while you're rocking. It's okay.
Yeah.
Usually.
The broadcast class, we keep having to find new things to put stuff in. So like, especially your room, I don't even know. Just so much stuff happening all at once.
Well, part of it's like with drama productions or speech productions, we have so many categories and there's so many like working, moving things that not just storing the physical items, but then keeping track of what's going on. So like right now, I was just kind of going through my to-do list of, things I need to follow up on, but we've got a project. Obviously the musical's rolling, so getting ready with the set and crews and costume things. But then also we're helping with the haunted barn. So there's a group of students working on that. We want to make sure we have a float ready for the parade. But then also coordinating like door decorating to get ready for homecoming. And I think I'm in a handful of skits. I need to learn to say no. But just a handful of things to, continue to follow up on and make sure they, come to fruition.
When I was younger, I did not realize how much work goes into literally everything, because homecoming, especially being like the student council like president, there's never a time where I'm just doing nothing, because it's always like this and this. It's just so much, but I would rather do that than not do anything.
Mm-hmm. And you get to see those projects come to life too.
Yeah.
Same with like your podcast. Like you're here outside of school hours because it's what fit in all three of our schedules. But then you'll get to hear people's feedback, and that reward too is worth it. But I don't know, that's some of the magic of any of the, whether it's homecoming, whether it's a musical, whether it's, parts like the home, pep rally and things like that. You do the behind the scenes work, and those who get to come and enjoy it just experience the magic. And you create the illusion that it's flawless and easy. But it's a great service. It's a great enjoyment, and that's, I think, part of fine arts.
That reminds me, like, during speech season, like, this year, in Mr. Bowlin's class, we watched, like, some of the TV news and the short films, and people will watch it and be like, oh, that's cool. And, like, yeah, this 5-minute video, guess how long it took to make.
And it's kind of, I don't know, it's almost a joke now, but whenever somebody says, it's good enough, I was like, are we sure?
Are we sure?
Are we sure? Because usually if we have more footage or if we have one more chance, something good will come of that. So to just say it's good enough, I think we're capable of more most often. And sometimes we just need the encouragement to get there.
How many consecutive years has Iowa Valley had an all-state nomination in either a large group or individual speech?
Consecutive? I want to say for sure 4. I think there might have been a year off. Where we had another individual previous.
Yeah, because I feel like not everybody knows, because I don't feel like it's talked about enough, especially like as sports, speech. Like, at our school, we excel, especially like since we're such a small school, and then like the bigger schools might even have more like stuff to do it with, and we just do. I don't know. I feel like we do really well, especially for being a small school.
I would say yes. I'm incredibly proud of the support we get, not just from our student body, but teachers. And I think some of that comes from the smaller community, though. Because, like, talking, and that, I guess, speech is universal, and that's something else I don't think people always realize, is we compete head-to-head with all school sizes. Mm-hmm. So when you show up, you're anonymous, and so people don't realize if you're coming from a 4A school that seems to have a lot of resources, if you're coming from a very rural small school. But we actually have, when you compare, especially in pre-recorded categories like the films and the TV news and things, the software and the hardware that we have and what we're able to use is pretty top notch. And we've created some really solid films using cell phones as well. But it's an equalizer. It's also, a huge pat on the back when you say, like, yeah, we can compete against them. And we also enter a freshman team just so we have additional entries. And our freshmen perform really well. We had a freshman improv group selected for All-State 2 years ago. So it's neat. But yeah, we do have actually a lot of resources available. I think our greatest hurdle when it comes to being a small school is our students are so active in other activities.
Yeah, that's like, but that's also like a good thing about being in speech, because for me, in the winter I'm a wrestling manager, so I have those duties, I guess, and also in speech. But last year I learned from the past. I did pre-recorded so that I could participate in speech, but also go to the weekend tournaments, because all the speech competitions are on Saturdays, the same time as wrestling tournaments.
Yeah, I agree, and it brings such a great perspective too, to have those multi-activity participants come into those categories. But it is scheduling nightmare. It's ultimately what ends up being. But it would allow somebody like Garrett, even as a junior, to still sign up
Garrett, you are literally in the best class, like making you, like shaping you for speech, and you would be good at it. You would be a great asset to our team.
Well,
maybe we should make a new Instagram poll. Since
the Instagram poll definitely was not voted correctly. There's something wrong with the voting system on that.
Recount the votes.
Recount the votes. There was some fraud. Had to have been.
Well, since apparently you claim you're not doing wrestling, you'll have a lot of extra time for speech.
There you go.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I have not even looked into what speech is.
Well, there's this blue sheet in Mrs. Bowlin's room.
Yeah, Mrs. Bowlin's. Last year, she emailed me saying, "Don't forget to come to the meeting." I'm not gonna lie, I did not open that, and then I kind of got in trouble the next day.
You also got in trouble yesterday for not reading emails.
Garrett,
you
what
can't
email?
just float building.
Oh, float building.
You can't just ignore them.
Well,
they don't just go away.
They go away sometimes.
He just claims he doesn't know.
Yeah, in school, my number one priority is not checking my email.
I feel like teachers often say make sure to check your email all the time.
Yeah, but sometimes I'm not paying attention. It just goes over my head. Like a lot of the time in comp.
I'm just gonna start emailing the extra credit opportunities.
Oh, speaking of comp, he tried to gaslight me and tell me he didn't have a class to do, and I believed him.
Yeah.
And I was like, "You're not in comp?" And he's like, "No." And I was like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, I got a comp story. I don't know what class it was. College English had a party, and I asked for some sweet tea from Quinn because his mom makes the best sweet tea. So
you had never had it.
I'd never had sweet tea. So in comes Pierce with a whole plate of food, and I was expecting sweet tea. And when he sets it down on my table, I look at it, and then I look at Mrs. Bowlin, and she's like, "Do not eat that." And I was like, "Why?" And she goes, "If you eat it, you have to share with the whole class." Clearly, I did not want to share with the whole class. So for 40 minutes, it was just sitting in front of me, not paying attention to what was happening in class. I was looking at the food. I was so hungry.
That's mostly a true story.
That is a true story.
Mostly.
No, because then they actually came back with the sweet tea.
Yeah.
You informed them you weren't eating the food, so they brought it back to Mr. Silver's room so you wouldn't have to smell it for 40 minutes.
Yeah, but...
I did let you drink the sweet tea.
The sweet tea, oh my goodness. If any of you have a chance to drink Quinn's mom's sweet tea, it is just so good. I don't know what she does to it.
It's just the southern
the key to your heart right there.
It's
you
so
just have
good.
to be from the south to make good sweet tea, I guess. There's no secret. It's just that's
First
it.
ever sweet tea I've ever had, and it's probably going to be the best I've ever
Set the
had.
standard, yeah.
Yeah, you set the standard pretty high. Now you're gonna go to the gas station and
very,
get sweet tea
high.
and just immediately
Might
disappointed.
be the only sweet tea that I will drink.
Well, Quinn's not bringing sweet tea for our party.
You need
on
to
the
tell him
30th.
to.
Well, he was supposed to bring some today for Ursuline's party and did not happen. He went and bought sweet tea.
Is that for college English?
Mm-hmm.
You might have to bring me some for comp.
Well,
I've never had it before.
That only works once.
I actually have never had it before that.
Before that, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm not believing you the second time.
Never had it.
I'm not a big tea person, so I did not drink any.
Not
I don't
even
know.
that
Maybe
sweet
I
tea.
would be if I had that, but
I'd give it a try. It's different. I
Give
like
it a
tea.
try.
Yeah.
You have to.
okay.
Yeah.
It's so sweet. It's practically not tea.
Oh.
Yeah, pretty much, probably.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good way to say it.
It still is, but practically not.
Well, hopefully, maybe at this. Okay, so this is a little spoiler, guys. I don't know when this is coming out. Maybe right before the. We'll post this after the pep rally because.
Does this make you nervous?
At the pep rally. At the pep rally. Mrs. Barron's requested that we do this skit that they did at Williamsburg, and it's called How Well. I get Mr. Silver's text messages on this.
Ignore.
Yeah. So sometimes when I'm editing, it's just, and he's in a group chat, it's just going. Okay. Anyway, this How Well Do You Know Your Mother skit that they did at Williamsburg that she wanted us to do, and we're doing it with some of the football players. So we picked 2 people from each grade, and
should have done me.
Well, we didn't exactly tell them. Miss Easton told us we didn't have to tell them. We just had to ask them if their parents would be there.
Sure.
Because it has to be a spur of the moment, or else they're gonna study their mom, and it's just not gonna be.
Questions,
yeah. But it's questions like, "What is your mom gonna yell during a football game?"
And my mom just yells.
Yeah, that's true. Or like one of them is, what's your mom's lock screen? Do you know what your mom's lock screen is?
Yeah.
What is it?
All.
You're not gonna tell other people this.
Oh, well then.
Okay.
Yes, I know what it is.
Okay, there you go.
All right. But anyway, Quinn is in it. I didn't ask him if his parents were gonna be there because, well, homecoming. They're gonna be there, so I guess we'll have to see how much Quinn knows about Lori. Maybe.
I bet Quinn will do good.
Wait, that's her name, right?
Or do well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
Okay.
well,
I scared myself
Either
for
way.
a second because that would be awkward if that was. Yeah, and then Dawson's doing it too. He doesn't know
With
it yet.
Shelly?
Yeah.
I feel like Dawson won't do well.
I don't think so either.
Well, you see that? Well, I used it.
That was good.
That was very good.
She learned that in.
No, I just corrected him a moment ago where you were talking.
I do remember her saying it in English 10 though. I paid attention very well in that class. There it was again.
As opposed to very good?
Yep.
Oh. Okay.
Life skills. That's what we're all about.
All you sophomores, do your English 10. Just do it.
It may seem difficult now, but I swear when you're done, you're going to be like, oh, it's not that bad. It's not.
Yeah.
That's usually the case.
And people will try and scare you with a portfolio and the
Not bad.
and the.
You tried scaring me with that.
I
and
don't
it was
feel like
not
I
bad.
did.
You did.
I don't recall.
In wrestling, you're like, oh, you just get ready for the portfolio.
Well,
awful.
it's not hard. It's just there's a lot of
Time
steps, time
consuming.
consuming. Yeah.
Well, it's broke. I mean,
But
it's a big project.
Yeah.
That's a
broken down
while.
very
and
well.
career research paper. That's what I was trying to think of.
That was not bad either.
That wasn't really that bad, but I also did an ag teacher, and we just happened to have a great one here. So.
I did mine on Mr. Kriegel, just being a teacher.
Oh, you researched Mr. Kriegel's career or just Mr. Kriegel?
No, like just being a teacher, and he was my interview. I did it over email.
Oh.
Because it was hard to line up a time.
We were actually.
Yeah.
Him in person.
I had, a lot of stuff. Very busy guy.
We were talking about English 10 and college English the other day because we were talking about literary devices because it's basically what we've been doing all year, but we just went through every book and then everyone was like, oh, Huck Finn was difficult for us because Mrs. Bowlin wasn't there, but it's just, I don't know, because,
Maternity leave.
yeah.
Huck Finn was a good book. I like that book.
Okay.
My favorite was To Kill a Mockingbird.
That was also good. I just liked both of those books, but the book projects we had to do, I didn't like.
Because you did it individually?
Probably. And Friday Night Lights, good book, just not at all what I thought it was going to be about.
Didn't like their class have to do on Wednesdays like
Book talks.
Yeah, we did not do that.
Nope, added that
But
in. I like it, though.
But we didn't really have school on Wednesdays that much my sophomore year. We ended up having them, but
That's right.
I don't even remember what we did.
Usually when I had my book talks, my book was never started. So I just say what I thought was going to happen. And I would have them like halfway through the quarter too.
Oh, I was just going to say, maybe it was because they were always at the beginning, but that was
My
just
first one was at the
optimistic.
beginning, so that one was easy. I was like, well, this is the first one. Because you made me go. You wrote me down for the first one, and I didn't even raise my
It was
hand.
random.
Yeah.
It was random.
No.
I think I just used the random selection thing. But you read Friday Night Lights. Did you also read Forrest Gump? Is that right?
Yeah, that was my last one.
I remember you reading that. I remember you carrying that around.
It was good. Different than the movie.
Yeah.
Very different than the movie, but very good book too. I'd recommend it to all you guys.
But he also hated these projects, so.
Yeah, but the book was good.
Oh.
If you read it, like, why would the project be difficult?
Because I'm not gonna lie, I did not like writing about books. But the last project I did like a playlist one, and came up with songs that went with the book. That one was pretty fun.
Okay.
So you recommend that to all the sophomores this year?
Yes, do the playlist project, do the simple summary project.
I did the essay.
And then I don't remember the other one that I did, but do the easiest ones.
But that's why there's so many options. So the book project has 14 options counting as student choice. So you can choose one that fits your skills and what matches the book. So that's what makes them more.
Draw a scene. That's what I
There
did.
you go.
That's the other one.
Tapped into your inner artist.
Yep, I
There
did
you go.
that one. I did that one over Jim Candy.
Yep.
I drew a picture. I probably shouldn't say it in case they read Jim Candy.
Oh yeah. Spoilers.
Yeah, spoiler.
It's a pretty popular book. Yeah.
It's a good book.
Can't say I've
Recommend it too.
Mm-hmm.
Can't say I've ever read that.
You should read it.
But this summer I did read a lot. I don't know. It's just easier for me when someone's not forcing me to do it. Like when I go to Barnes and Noble and then I just get stuff that I'm just actually interested. Not that I wasn't interested in any books I read for school. Like sophomore year, like I liked everything we read there, and then I just can't get over To Kill a Mockingbird. I would read that so many times. But going to Barnes and Noble it's a dangerous place. It's a trap.
I understand.
And especially when I text my mom, because she's all for it. So if I text her and be like, can I buy this? She'll immediately money into my account, and she'll
there you go.
let us.
Don't they have games there, too?
Yeah, and they have records.
Yeah,
they have,
music.
cookbooks. But they have it like a big Harry Potter section.
There's a lot. Usually a cafe.
Yeah.
Starbucks is in the one.
I just like the smell. I don't really like coffee, but the smell of coffee with a bookstore is like
just
a whole vibe.
Yeah, just goes
When
together.
I go there, I don't get coffee because I don't like coffee.
Fair enough.
But I don't know what it is, but it's good. My mom would know. Also, the sizes confuse me. Like, why can't it just be small, medium, large?
There's pressure there.
Yeah.
I know. I very rarely. But I don't like coffee, but I like the smell. So like my dad always had coffee going when I was a kid growing up. Mr. Bowlin makes coffee in his classroom, so that wafts down the hallway. And then, like,
His
bookstore
room
smell.
always
He always
smells
asks
good.
us first hour if any of us want any, and every single time it's a no. I just can't drink just straight black coffee.
I think Tate's had some of it.
Or
when he's
coffee,
out
like,
there.
I just don't drink coffee, so it's always a no. And he like, really? No. It's just always going to be a no. I remember when I was younger, one time my brother Trey was drinking coffee because he's just, I don't know, he was in high school. I don't really know if he actually liked coffee. Sometimes he just does things to try and prove a point. I don't know.
I feel like most people who are young learning to like coffee, that's part of the motivation.
Yeah, but
they just want to be a coffee drinker.
We were like, I was so young. It's when Addison lived in her house in town. So this was like a long time ago.
That was a long time.
Yeah, but anyway, we're all there, our family, and he comes back from Casey's with a cup of black coffee, and then he's like, do you want to try it? And I asked my mom if I could, because I knew coffee was an adult drink. Not like adult, but just not for a younger
Well, like,
young
it's
child.
not a flavor like most kids
Yeah.
would.
Yeah, so I tried it, and I was like, I am never drinking this again. How can you find this good? And then my mom was like, yeah, I don't think he actually finds it good. He just wants to be old.
Yeah.
But now I think he drinks coffee. I have no idea. Don't live with him, so.
Everyone always told me I would acquire a taste for coffee as a teacher because it's kind of like an iconic thing. But I have hot tea is what I have in the morning. Yeah.
I feel like tea is becoming more popular in all the different kinds, like chai tea, and I don't know the other kind. Matcha, is that a thing? Is that tea?
Mm-hmm.
Never had either. I've had green tea, sweet tea. Had sweet tea.
You have had sweet tea.
Never had it actually.
Audible wink right there. No, I don't know. I liked iced tea originally, and then I worked for a lot of years at a summer camp, and we always had international staff members. So like summers during college, and then even a couple of years after I started teaching here, I'd go back and work. And one of my coworkers from England, she's like, "You don't even know tea. Let me make you a proper cup of tea." But she said it with a British accent, and I'm no good at that, so I won't even try. It was like a proper cuppa, and I was like, okay. But she had her mom like send over English like bags of tea, and so then she'd make that and steep it for like just the right amount, and then she always would add milk. So now that's how that was like the best cup of tea ever. And so that's what I usually have. Yeah, English breakfast tea with milk.
Those British stereotypes.
No, like it's legit. Like they have a cup of tea, and that's their evening.
A cup of tea and biscuits.
But yeah.
It might have been one of the worst British accents ever.
Well, when you're a country boy like me, I'm a farmer.
Right. It's hard to.
I'm not from across the river over there, the big river.
Most people call it the pond, but it's okay too.
No, not the pond.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, speaking of British people, and Barnes and Noble, the other day I was there, and I always go to like the history section just to look at what they have, and just immediately there's so many books about the Queen, and I was like, just a few days after she died, so like physically how was that possible, because that was not there before.
Coincidence.
Well, like did they know? I don't know. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos about the royal family, because I don't know. Before I didn't really care. I mean, that one moment when like Meghan and Harry had that scandal, I guess I watched that video they did with Oprah. But now I'm watching so many videos with like the royal family explained and like the beef between like Princess Diana and Camilla. I don't know. Yep. But like, how did they have all that right after?
So journalists, they actually prepare like segments to cover celebrities or other famous people, like their deaths. They prepare those in advance. So then they simply have to do some minor updates when the event actually happens. So as far as Barnes & Noble, like they probably already had all those books. They were just probably in separate sections and they combined them.
Oh,
you know
okay,
what I mean?
Makes sense.
But yeah, but like, so that's why like all of a sudden, somebody passed away, but they've got this, 5-minute segment of coverage already prepared. Like it's already been done. Like it's already archived and they just have to
They were like thick books of the Queen's life too. I mean, she was pretty old, so probably figured it was coming sometime soon, but I was just shocked. I was like, geez, already? Mm-hmm. Jordan was also shocked. And then we just kind of moved on.
They don't like do anything though, right? Like they just the royal family. They kind of just like there. I don't like know anything about the royal family.
I mean, well, they have like a prime minister and they're like separate.
But
so
like the Queen didn't like do like. Anything.
I feel like she kind of just. I don't know what they do. I just know who they are. But I feel like she was just kind of at events.
Kind of just.
And
there.
it's like
a lot of
whoa,
tradition around it too.
Yeah. And now I've seen people on Twitter, on British Twitter, being like, oh, we don't really want the monarchy anymore now that she's gone. I don't know if that's a thing that can just happen.
Abolish the monarchy.
Yeah. No idea. Anyways, okay, so some people might not know, some people may know, Mrs. Bowlin used to be the drama director, but resigned because she has a life outside of school.
Not much. It was mostly the decision to step down when Mr. Bowlin stepped up into head football coaching, because prior to that, it would be he would come home from football practice. We would be, me and the kids would be eating supper, and he would tag in, and I would leave to go to drama rehearsal. Mm-hmm. So the kids never saw both of us in the same spot. But head coaching takes a lot more time, dedication-wise, and so it just would have been just too much. So this way, we're still really busy, but our kids also now are in activities. So this way, we continue to function for the most part, and I still can help with drama, but without being dedicated to all the rehearsal times.
Yeah. I mean, especially because you're in the building and our drama director now is not, like, it just helps a lot. So what are thoughts, any comments on the musical this year? Very excited for it.
So I haven't been to many rehearsals, like I said, I'm looking forward to it. I enjoy it. We can talk about the title and everything. Yeah. So The Wedding Singer, I think, is just a fun show, and set in the 80s, and like looking at like how fashion right now is kind of like has some retro vibe to it as well. I think it's, I don't know, just a fun show. It reminds me a lot of Sister Act.
Me and Mara have both said that so many times. Like even the music, we're like, this is literally Sister Act.
Some of that tempo and some of that storytelling. I mean, it's a totally different story.
Yeah.
But that part, I don't know, that show was also really fun. Yeah. So so I'm looking forward to all of that, the production around it, and I think we'll have fun with costuming and the set design and all that good stuff.
We have a whole month, which sounds like a lot to the average person, but it's not. And things are just like increasingly getting more hectic, like so fast, and it's just life is crazy.
And we share the auditorium. I mean, it's wonderful. Our auditorium stage is no longer shared with basketball.
Oh, that would be. I don't even know how that would function.
So that part's helpful, but we do still share with things like the variety show will happen before the actual wedding singer performances. Homecoming obviously will be in there, so we have to kind of wait. So we do a lot of prep, and then all of a sudden it's kind of like a Lego set, like things like get put together, because we need to make sure the performers are blocking and getting their spacing ideas, and trying to help them do that. But we also can't build a full set and then take it down and put it back up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's another one of those things where, like, we do all this work for the people just to see the outcome.
The magic.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a lot of work, especially because Levi actually made me it's over there, a fancy student director book, and it has all of, like, the scene changes and the staging, for all of the, like, choreography, because doing that too. Yeah. So, Garrett, you could join us. It's not too late.
Join what? The musical?
Yeah, we always need help.
You know, I was in 2 plays.
You were in the Dry High play and you did magnificent, Garrett.
Not my 7th grade year. That was bad.
You learned.
My freshman year.
Yeah, 8th grade / freshman.
Yeah. Billy was a character.
He brought him to life, though. And that's what drama is.
I was a good Billy. After the play, I watched like the same play on YouTube. All of them were just monotoned, and it was pretty boring to watch that Billy. But my Billy, it was good.
Yeah. Your talents could be used.
Yeah, but I'm not much of a musical guy. Singing.
You don't know that.
Singing in front of people. Now, I did sing in front of our English 10 class. Remember that?
No.
At the end of the year? I did. But singing, I'm not the best singer, so.
I don't believe you.
I don't either.
You don't believe me that I'm not a good singer?
Would you believe that Colton was that much of a musical guy? A guy who's not even in choir. Well, he is. He does great.
Well, Colton also is like good at acting.
And so are you.
But that's sometimes the preconceived notion is that you can't go out for drama or fine arts unless you already have these talents that have already appeared. But I feel like, have you been in a musical before?
No.
How do you know you're not good at it?
The only people who have...
But that's why there's coaches. Like, that's the role we get to have, you know? Yeah.
The only people not experiencing a musical for the first time right now are the seniors.
It's true.
And that was our freshman year, which is long ago and many pandemics ago. Well, one, but still.
One big one.
Yeah.
Significant.
Yeah, life has changed a lot. So we're pretty much experiencing a musical for the first time because most of us agreed that we do not remember Sister Act. Not at all, but for the most part, I don't even, like, me and Maya were like, I don't know how we made this work. I don't know how we did this because I just remember the rehearsals and, like, just, like, the part of the rehearsals where the rehearsal track starts playing and then it's just silent because we're like, yeah. That's the only thing I remember.
But y'all came back, so that's
cool.
Usually musicals bring out, I would say, my worst. Like, students like to say I yell. Like, you yelled at us. I very rarely yell. I mean, you guys can attest to that.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like loud talking.
Yeah, it's got emotion behind it. But under the stress of a musical and the acoustics of the auditorium,
oh, yeah.
I definitely end up yelling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like Cade took a major wrath of that as a freshman tech booth.
Oh, I remember that. Oh, boy.
He came back, though.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
And he's supposed to be training someone this year. Do you know who he's training?
So the goal always, and when the auditorium got renovated, that was about 12 years ago, with the new sound and light equipment, which we're actually looking to upgrade just because the equipment phase is only so long. But we always try to have a freshman learn how to run the light board and the soundboard because there's a lot of nuances with it, and then it's just a lot of work. But basically, that way they will learn and be able to be part of 4 years worth of productions.
I don't know why I was under the impression that it was just gonna be Jackson, because he's learning how to edit, which he kind of knew the basics before.
He did a lot with TV news last year as well.
But now he's in the musical, so. Garrett, you're not a freshman, but you're not a senior, so.
That's a good point.
So what is that supposed to mean?
You will be here next year.
Yeah, so what
then you can teach,
that will help us transition, yeah.
Like, a potential, like, maybe, like.
Current 8th graders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A Mooey.
Yeah.
A Chance. A Skylar, perhaps. Doesn't have to be a boy. That's kind of just the stereotype at our school. It's usually the people in the booth are a boy. Except for Paige. She was up there sometimes.
Mm-hmm. I enjoyed production. So, like, I think oftentimes people think that I came into this role as like an onstage drama person, but I'm more of a backstage. I enjoyed speech, and I did perform in live categories and things like that. But in regards to, like, musicals and drama productions, I was art crew, pit band, stage crew, whatever it took to make those folks on stage look good. I
always wanted to be an onstage person so badly. But after this year, I think I'm realizing I'm a off-stage person, too, because I like directing people. And also, for the past, I don't even know how many years, I've done the makeup for J High play.
Sure.
And I did the high school play last year. But
It's a lot.
The middle part, I remember that.
Yeah, I did. When Garrett
You styled Billy's hair.
Yeah, when Garrett was Billy, I gave him a middle part, which was a task because his hair did not want to move, but we got it done.
It was very much shorter than this.
Yeah. So
maybe I'll buzz it.
He was modeling a center part the other day in class as well.
Yeah, not good. I was using my free comb from picture day.
Oh yeah, does Cole still have his? We were in art science, and I come back from my picture because we go by grade, and the seniors were last, and Cole's just combing his hair, and I was like, "What?" And then he was like, "Yeah, the lady just gave it to me, and I didn't even know that was a thing."
Yeah, so there's like a box of them, and it said if you use a comb, either throw it away or take it. So I saw a box of combs. I took one, went down my hair once, and then put it in my pocket. And now I'll always have a comb.
But I think it also said, if you need
I was having a bad hair day.
Okay.
This was all curled like that. Because usually after I shower, it dries and it just like folds like that. Mm-hmm. It's not good.
That comb was necessary.
Clearly. It was necessary, that one down swipe.
Yeah. Now sometimes when I see Cole, it's just him doing this. And it's like,
sometimes it just feels nice.
Guess I wouldn't know. I don't comb my hair like that.
Like, you ever had one of those, like, head massager things?
No, those get just tangled in my hair.
Yeah, but they feel nice.
I avoid them.
Yeah, it lasts for a few seconds and I'm done. So
no, that feels nice.
It probably does.
They're probably like $1, but they're nice.
Go hit up the new Dollar Tree in Marengo, see if they have some.
I don't think they do.
They have just about everything.
Yeah, I've been there a lot for...
I have not been in there yet.
I was there today, twice actually.
Tuesday taste tests always go.
Oh, there you go.
Oh yeah, those are a fun bit.
That makes sense.
I was editing that today, and this might be the most boring one.
Yeah,
because they did orange sodas.
They all tasted the same.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I was trying to figure out a way to make it not so boring.
The cheese snacks one, that one was good.
That one was good. Yeah, because
it's funny.
I gave you other ideas.
We have a list of ideas, but
I thought my ideas were better than your list, but you guys didn't seem to agree.
I don't remember.
That's usually
I think I added some of the ones you said.
Yeah, well, and all the feedback I always give for the broadcast, nobody likes to listen to that either.
I feel like
I bring the energy in the broadcast.
Who
Dark
do you...
Alley.
What is up, Gears Dark Alley fans?
Yeah, you also gave a spiel about speech, and then you just moments ago told us you know nothing about speech.
Well,
credibility.
She gave me what I needed to know about that. She said it wrong. The broadcast is wrong. I don't know.
Well, it wasn't wrong.
It wasn't wrong. You just still don't know it.
Yeah, I know that there's the district contest.
True.
The state one, and then all state nominations.
There you go.
This is true.
Now what you do in it, still don't know.
We got a lot of speech members in our class, Garrett. You could be one. And anybody listening could be one because there is no downside to doing speech. Other than it's just another thing to take up your time, but what else are you going to do? Nothing.
Well, it's also, time commitment-wise, is what you put in is usually what you get out. So yeah.
Guys, a lot of crazy things could happen in speech. Like, one time, Quinn proposed to me in the snow at Gateway. It was crazy. And then we went and filmed at the theater in Belle Plaine, and the footage was never seen. But Chubb shared with us his Chubb shared with us his hot chocolate recipe, and now it's pretty good stuff. So
Chubb's let me have some of that hot chocolate. Oh.
Sweet tea and hot chocolate.
Just think of the
key to my heart. No, hot chocolate's the key to Jackson's heart. Oh.
Yes.
Speaking of hot chocolate,
that was his demonstration speech.
The football game on Friday at EV. Oh. I went up there and I was like, "Do you guys happen to have hot chocolate?" Because I saw it on the thing, but there was like athletic tape. I think it was athletic tape over it.
Out.
And then like they wrote something else on top of it. So I was just curious. I was like, "Do you have hot chocolate today?" And they were like, "No." And then I was like, "Okay, understandable." I didn't know it was supposed to be this cold either. And then I'm just taking pictures like I do. I didn't get very good pictures. My hands were really shaky that day, and it was chilly. Misting. Yeah. But then I just see other people with hot chocolate, and I was like, "What's going on, guys?" They said there wasn't any hot chocolate. So then I went back, and there was some. Life was good. Then they ran out because once one person found out, it was over.
It was real, yeah.
Jackson would taste every single hot chocolate at track meets, even if it was like 80, 90 degrees.
He does the same thing at speech contests. If you were there, you'd know.
I don't even
We do that at wrestling tournaments, or wrestling anything, meets or tournaments with walking tacos. And I have a section in my notes.
You showed me the list, yeah. I don't remember which
ranking.
One's the best.
Yeah,
the list?
Yeah. Well, we rated out of 10.
Okay.
If you wanted to know, the best walking taco I've ever had was at Anamosa. So shout out to Anamosa, whoever made the walking tacos there. You are doing something right. But we had a meet at Iowa City Regina, and I'm like 99% sure they put beans, like refried beans in it.
Might have.
Which probably wasn't bad for someone who likes beans. I also wasn't expecting it, so I was like, oh boy. I had a few bites, and I was like, something's off. And I had other people taste it, and yeah.
So I used to run like the 4-H food booth for the Iowa County Fairgrounds.
Oh yeah.
I did that like for like 6 years. But when it comes to walking tacos and then helping here at the concession stand, like I get why they're so enjoyable, but they're so difficult.
Oh, so
to,
much
make
work.
happen.
I remember when's the last time we had walking tacos here? Because I know I've made walking tacos here before.
Yeah, it was just pre 2020.
Oh, yeah. So like my freshman year, I know I was in that concession stand, and there was like very specific. I crunch the Doritos, like I don't know.
I'm the one who made the recipe for that.
Yeah.
Yep, I did. But part of it's to be consistent, so that way if you visit, you're expecting the same thing. But no, I swear. I miss the ability to eat them. I don't miss prepping for them. Like setting up concession stands.
Oh, when I go somewhere and they have a walking taco, you know I'm getting that, because that stuff is just so good and convenient. Like, you go to a sporting event, not at our school, and you bring like $6. You got yourself a meal. You got a walking taco, which a lot of people are starting to sell those for $4, which is a bit ridiculous.
Expensive.
But
that's why it was $5. The last I saw.
Jeez.
Yeah, there was one where it was like,
yeah.
I think we were at a wrestling meet or tournament or something, and it was like $6, and I'm like, this thing better be a family-sized bag of Doritos.
Oh, but I bought one time that was $5, and it was like the smaller size. So I was like, this is a bit ridiculous. I'm not buying any more. But
Did it bring your ranking down?
I don't even remember who it was.
Is cost a factor?
Yeah, but it just didn't make sense. Like, why was it more expensive when the bag was smaller? I don't know. But yeah, you got your $6, not including admission. But if it's $5 walking taco, guess you're getting water. But if it's not, I'm getting a lemonade, and that's just ideal. Best part of high school.
Usually to the home stuff, I bring $5. I get Bosco sticks, and then I get a drink. But now I think Bosco sticks are more expensive than $3.
I think they're $3.50.
Yeah.
I swear Bosco sticks came out of nowhere. It was just like Bosco sticks, and everyone has one. Yeah. And it's like, where do these come from?
And that's partly why we started. We wanted to have a thing that was different.
Yeah.
And so that's why we have the brat patties at football games, or when we have the grill going. And then Bosco sticks was kind of like, wow, most people don't have this, and now a lot of people do. So I can't reveal what's in the works, but I think there's going to be a new specialty item on the horizon. So I think it'll be good. Also
at Anamosa, I feel like I've mentioned this to Mr. Rick before, but he probably shut me down because he does most things I tell him. But at Anamosa, they had these pretzels, and it wasn't like the dough wasn't like, because you know a pretzel, it's like kind of hard on the outside. Not hard, but it's like pretzel.
Crisp.
Yeah. But this wasn't like that. It was like just soft, okay? And instead of...
It's more like a breadstick pretzel.
Kind of, yeah. Soft pretzels.
Yeah. And
oh my goodness, we should get those here.
Instead of salt and cheese, it was like a little cinnamon and sugar combination dipped in like a frosting whipped cream, not whipped cream, whipped cream, something like something whipped.
Like the stuff on
and me and Ella, we got one to try it, and then we were like, this is amazing. And then we kept going back for more. They were so good. Mr. Wick, you need to get on that. We make so much money because they sold out pretty fast.
But sometimes the things that sell, it's just because it's different.
Yeah.
Like you don't see it other places. Yeah.
Yeah, and Millie was there because I swear college breaks are just so long. She was there a lot because she was like, oh, I'm still on winter break, which, I mean, I wish. But anyway, she was there, and we were, like, convincing her to get it, and she got it, and she was like, guys, it's just a pretzel with cinnamon and sugar. But me and Ella we were just all about it. Uh-huh. If you ask Ella, I swear, she could talk about it for so long. It's the best pretzel I've ever had in my life. Anamosa, shout out. You guys are doing it right. Garrett, got anything else?
I still don't know what you do in speech, really.
Okay, so you know what you did for the junior high play. We've covered that.
Yeah, the play. Mm-hmm. I know what the play is.
Yep. So speech, because it has to be portable, everything's shorter. So we have 11 categories. And so each of those categories has specifics. So like short film, Sarah was talking about being proposed to. That was part of the story they told through a short film. So you get a time limit, so maximum 5 minutes. Usually there's a limit how many people, like what types of, I don't know, different limitations, just to make sure it's competing against other short films equally. And then we, finish our rehearsals, finish our, productions, and we take them to a contest, and you perform for a judge. So at districts, it's just one judge, and so you're hoping they give you that one so you can advance to state. And then at state, there's 3 judges. And so, yes, we want to, perform and tell our stories really well, but, we'd love it if they saw us as being outstanding, what they saw that day. And that's where the all-state nomination comes in. So there's no guarantee, no magical, recipe. There's a lot of hard work and luck, ultimately, that comes into an all-state nomination because you're getting the right piece, the right kids matched with the right judge. So those categories cover everything from like a one-act play. So it's like 35 minutes. So it's like taking like what you see on stage, but in a smaller format, and that involves like costumes, and you perform it usually on a stage. Other things like musical theater. So it's almost like show choir meets theater, so it'd be like excerpts from like The Wedding Singer. Mime. So they're acting everything out.
Exactly.
Telling their story without any actual words. So all of it's based on student interest, and it's student driven. So I've written a lot of pieces that we've taken to contests because that way we don't ever have to worry about like copyright or performance rights. But we've performed other pieces. A lot of what we do in the pre-recorded categories, which would be television newscasting, radio broadcasting, and short film, are student written. So it's stories that our students find valuable and want to share. And so it gives us a platform for that. It's pretty cool.
Side note, I wish I was joking, but like probably like 3 times a week, just in my head, I just start hearing the sunrise, sunset, and I just don't know. It won't go away. It's engraved in my brain from the choral reading.
But it's actually an allusion to Fiddler on the Roof. Yeah.
I don't know what that is. I thought you were talking about the song.
Well, we did a choral reading, which is like...
Oh, that's not even the words. Never mind.
Didn't we? Yeah, we had a script for that.
We wrote it, though.
Yeah, it was basically about, like, how life is so busy and you just need to, like, stop and just live life, pretty much. Because, yeah, there was, like... Because you talk, like, all at once at some points, but then it's, like, overlapping things. It just gets crazy. But our script was on our phone because we were, like...
It's always like, connected.
Yeah.
Glued to the phone.
Yeah, that's like part of the visual. Yeah. But yeah, so part of it, like the background, was us just saying like sunrise, sunset.
But it's all timed out and all voices match up.
Yeah.
So you have to create this choral environment. So you get this like sound that's happening, but then over the top of it, you're sharing a different story or a message and acting it out. So that one involves costumes, blocking, choral, like lines together as well as solo lines. That one has a lot of moving parts, and you can have like 15 people in that one. So it can be pretty big.
Yeah, one time actually, I think this was going into my sophomore year. We were filming this video for our speech meeting about like describing all the categories like super fast, so you just kind of get the gist of it. It was like our first meeting. I don't know. Anyway, we were doing choral reading, and we had to think of something that we all knew the words to, and it was Bohemian Rhapsody. So we were like, open your eyes, look up to the skies, and see. And we all were saying it at the same time. And then we were going to show Mrs. Bowlin our finished product. And you know how she always has Pandora just chilling in the background.
I always try to figure out what song
when it's the piano guys and it's like...
Yeah, this one was actual music, though.
Yeah, so we're like showing her this video because we thought it was hilarious because none of us ever done choral reading before, which it was funny. But anyway, we were watching it and she just looks at us and like dead in our eyes, and she just like turns up the Pandora, and it's that song like that
lined up identically.
Like that That's part crazy. Of the song we were like
witchcraft right there.
Yeah, we don't know how that happened because you can't pick a song on Pandora, and we had no idea.
Timing.
Again.
Yeah, it was kind of like one of those moments where it's like, is life real?
Where are we at right
simulation
now?
Type deal.
Have you ever had moments like that where it's like, this is a simulation? Like, yes. I have multiple examples of that.
Did reading 1984 create that for you?
I did not read that because of COVID.
Oh.
That book was good, but as a freshman, it was very hard to understand.
Uh-huh.
I feel like now if I read it, I'd understand it way better.
Right.
Yeah, but this is way me by example, which my mom probably won't like this because all the examples have to do with me spilling. But, like, one time I was eating probably, like, a corn dog or something, and I had ketchup, and I, like, went to take a bite, but the ketchup, like, dripped on my shirt, and I was like, dang it. And then I was like, went to clean it up, like, a few minutes later. So I did, but, you know, I was wearing a light gray sweatshirt, so when you wipe ketchup off, obviously there's still going to be a stain.
Yeah.
So then I just go on about my day, because not much I could do about it then. And then I, like, look, and there's absolutely nothing on my shirt. Like, no remnants of ketchup ever. And it's not, like, because, you know, when you spill ketchup on yourself, there's still some there. But, like, I swear I had, like, video proof. I don't know where it's at. But I went back and watched the video, and I was like, Mom, there was ketchup on my shirt. But now there's not.
The exact same shirt you didn't.
Yeah, it was, like, the same day.
So busy that you changed, and you're like...
No, it was the same day, and I was like, what is going on? And just moments like that, I just question, like, what is life?
Sometimes I, like, have deja vu, and I'm like, whoa, how do I know that? Mm-hmm. Like, recently I had one, and I was just, like, in the gym, and I was, like, walking and dropped my water bottle, and I'm like,
done
what?
That before.
Yeah, and the lights were off because it was, like, early in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what the heck?
I did that tonight, actually. I was making, like, what I thought was a new recipe, and I'm like, oh, this looks good. I'm going to make this. And I had set the cookbook in a spot I don't normally put it. And then, like, I went to, like, check it for, like, I don't know, the 5th time because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I was like, oh, no, I've made this before because I had the cookbook here. Like, it was that exactly, like, the lighting's the same. Like, everything. I'm like, wait.
I feel like I saw...
Time warp.
Maybe one of my brothers told me this, or I saw somewhere on the internet, which doesn't mean it's true, both, like, scenarios, because they're not very... Anyway. But I feel like someone once told me that deja vu is because, like, you dreamt about it one time. I don't know.
My understanding is your brain is processing it, so it becomes a memory, like, quicker than, like, you're actually experiencing it. So, like, as it happens, like, you think it's happened previously.
That makes more sense than it being in a dream.
But you're still in it, like, live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had that so many times, and and, like, whenever it happens, I just, like, just pause and just, like, thinking, and, like, people try and talk to me, and it's, like, I'm just not listening to you.
Just trying to solve the relationship mystery.
You know what's crazy? Like, I don't know, I forgot what they're called, but, like, when people remember... like Tinkerbell, dotting the I, and like Disney.
Oh, a Mandela effect?
Yeah, those things are crazy.
Have you heard of those? Like
I feel like I have, but you have to tell me.
So, like, before Disney movies, sometimes, this fast play option, which I don't even know, like, basically skipping all, like, the, not ads, because it's like a CD, but, like, just...
DVD, but yeah.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
But, anyway, there's an option to watch all those, which who wants to do that, or click the fast play. Mm-hmm. But before that, I remember it too, Tinkerbell going and, like, doing her little thing. Like,
it was just like that, and then dots it, and then, like, flies away.
Yeah.
I remember that.
But that doesn't exist, apparently. Because people have, like, put those DVDs in, played it, and she's not there. And also, like the Fruit of the Loom one.
Yeah, the
like on the Fruit of the Loom logo, there's
called?
Like fruit, but there's a lot of people remember there being a cornucopia in the background. Mm-hmm. But there's not. If you look it up, there's not.
And there hasn't ever been one.
And
this is also some 1984. Like, it's just something you can't, you know.
Yeah.
I don't like how does everybody remember that, but it's not there. Yeah. Also, like, I don't even know which one it is, the Berenstain Bears or the Berenstein Bears.
I always said Berenstein.
I already said Berenstein, but I'm pretty sure it's Berenstain.
Or like
I don't know.
Curious George with or without a tail.
Oh, I thought I don't know. I thought it was a shorter tail, but.
Well, did he not, like, swing around on things on his tail?
No, he climbed everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just, yeah. This is me when it's, like, late at night and I'm in a loophole on YouTube and I'm just watching videos about this and then I can't sleep because I just am thinking. And it's, again, like, what is life? I don't know.
Crazy.
The amount of conversations me and Stephanie have had about this. Or, like, if you think about, like, space.
Yeah, like, what's out there? Because there's no way there's not.
My brain just cannot fathom how it just never ends.
Or, like, how the universe is just like that and then nothing.
But there's more.
There's more beyond the Milky Way, though.
There's more universes.
Or not the universe, like the everything.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember what it's called.
What is the term for that? The Space?
The universe might be the furthest.
Yeah.
You know, like the largest, and then you have different galaxies.
Yeah, like what's outside the universe?
Well, I saw this video, and it was like Earth, and then it zooms out, and it's the solar system, and it zooms out, and it's like, yeah, but it was like the Milky Way, and then it was like more, what's that called?
Galaxies.
Yeah, and then it was like out, and it was like our universe, and then there was more universes.
But like, what's past that?
Too many light years away. I can't answer that question for you.
You're gonna know.
The day that aliens attack us, I'll be like, I knew they were real, but
They have to be. There's no way there's all that out there, and there's no other living thing.
Silvers was saying today or yesterday. He was like, what was he talking about? Oh yeah, he said everyone has a creation myth, and he was like, the aliens even have a creation myth, and then that got me thinking, and I was like, geez, this is also the stuff that goes to my brain when he talks. Looks like they're talking about the solar system too. Okay, we had
right, but I think that, you know, and he and I have different conversations too. Just you're drawn to, you know, your content or whatever. But like English is just, I don't know, it's never quite finite the same way. You know, like math is generally pretty predictable. But you never know as far as like what student's going to grasp something different, or, you know, something else that is written or gets discovered, and how you can bring it in.
Just looking at his whiteboard just reminds me, Sunday night at dance class, we were talking about how every teacher has their own, like, thing, because our dance teacher does, like, whenever she's thinking, she, like, stares into our soul and does not say anything. Like, she'll just look at, have you experienced this? Yeah.
During the partner dance, like, she just looked at me for, like, a minute straight.
No, like, literally a minute, and she won't say anything, and you'll be like, what? And she just won't answer, and she'll, like, go like this.
She's like,
she's
looking right at me.
Yeah, she'll look right into your eyes, and you try and look away because it's just so awkward. And then she's like, okay. But anyway, we were all like just giving examples of what teachers do at our school, and like Silvers, every time I swear I come into his room, so many random words on the board, and then they're circled so many times. And I literally said, I was like, I've walked in so many times where the word thesis is just circled so many times, and right now on his board it has that, and every word up there is just circled an unnecessary amount of times. Yeah, and the denim one, that's also circled often. But also,
I mean, he's not wrong. They're important.
These are important
concepts.
Yeah, but also like Mr. Bowlin, whenever he's writing. Oh, because we started talking about apparently this one teacher. I cannot remember his name. He taught at Iowa Valley. Okay. He would like start writing with his left hand and then stop and then write.
They've told me the story. Yeah, but he was not here when I started.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. But anyway, because I started talking about how when Mr. Bowlin writes, he'll like go like this, put his hand on his head, and he like stares at it, and then it'll start like if it's a hard one, I guess. If it's easy, not. But or he'll like if he's really thinking hard, he'll have his hand on his head and then the hand on the whiteboard.
I've experienced.
You see this? I don't see this. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah. Well, and then Jordy went to draw on the whiteboard this morning, and he picked up a marker, and one of them and Mr. Bowlin called it blue, and he said, "This one? Oh no, it writes black." But he had mixed up the lids on them, so everyone was confused for a while.
Yeah. Things got weird.
Oh, yeah. Like, what is this? You said blue. It's not blue.
Yeah. And also, like, when Mr. Max is about to write, sometimes, like...
He just, like, holds it there?
Yeah, and he'll go... he'll do that.
A little shrug.
He'll do it a few times, but, like...
We're going for it.
Yeah. He'll be, like, the beginning of class, he hasn't said anything yet, and it's just silent. He just goes up there, and we'll stop for a second, and then he starts writing, and then he tells us what we're doing. And then, yeah, like what Mrs. Bowlin does. I don't know if she notices it, but like,
no, I'm all for this.
This is just what I've noticed about you. You do your thing, take attendance, and then you write. You just walk so slowly up to the board, and then you'll just stand there and just watch and just wait till we like. I don't know.
You have to start with good things.
Yeah, well,
we're
yeah,
just
that.
For good things.
But if we're like,
good things. That's kind of like her like, stop talking. Let's go.
Oh, yeah. Or if it's, like, in the middle of class and she's about ready to write something on the board, it's just the slow walk up to the board, and then, yeah. That's her thing. She also... I feel like you're known for your hand... Like, you just have very good handwriting. I just like watching you write. I don't know. And Mrs. Pope.
I write in cursive, though.
Yeah. But then there's, like...
lost art.
Like, I can't tell what any of that says.
His is an urgent cursive.
Yeah.
It's very urgent.
I just wish the viewers could see this. I'll take a picture of this and then just add it in, because hilarious.
Sometimes, like when I write, some of it's like print, and then some of it'll be cursive.
Yeah.
Garrett's favorite thing to do in broadcast
Writing my name
is write his name in cursive over and over. He'll write it, erase it, write it, erase it. Like
my signature and my autograph because they're different.
He offered me his autograph multiple times one day. I said,
For when I'm rich and famous.
This on so many of your assignments. I'm good.
That's my signature, though.
Yeah. I think it's going to fetch the same amount of money someday.
I have papers like just full of my name on it. Because that's just what I doodle in class.
No, I remember last year in study hall, we had like, and we have our seating chart. You got to sit there for attendance, and then you can move after. So I sat by Caleb. So every day, Garrett was at our table, and he would just like try and take Caleb's notebook. And Caleb's like, no, stop writing your name in my notebook. He did that to mine too. My notebook from last year just has Garrett written in it so many times.
You should have seen my Spanish homework. There were so many.
Have you ever? Oh, that does make sense. But have you ever like analyzed your handwriting? Like it's kind of like one of those like, well, like get like your fortune told or like something like that. Like your handwriting is also supposed to say something about you. So like depending on the size and like the slant, like it gives insight to your personality. We should do this.
Yeah,
we should.
I used to have a book.
Oh, when I'm writing on like paper, it's like usually small and like got like a little slant to it.
Yep. Yeah. But it like I'm trying to think some of the other points. Like if it touches the bottom and the top, like proper like top to bottom, or if it's like smaller, if it kind of floats. Like, are you an indecisive person or are you confident?
I did not know that. Yeah. Sometimes I just cannot have good handwriting. Like today, we were doing our horticulture study guide, and I was like, what is wrong with me today? My handwriting looks so bad, and I was trying so hard to fix it. But then some days, mainly in math, my handwriting looks so good. It's just so different. But one day in broadcast class, we had literally nothing to do. I mean, we probably could have found something, but there was like 20 minutes left to class. And me and Evan were on one side of the board, and then Garrett and Bo were on the other side. They copied us. But I wrote
Bo copied you. I was just sitting there.
I wrote the whole alphabet in capital letters, and then Evan would like erase ones that he didn't like to like narrowed it down to the one that I wrote the best, and then he did it in uppercase. Then we did lowercase, and we did numbers. It was just like we were just what's the word? Not like correcting, but like
you're having like a handwriting like tutorial.
Yeah, like I don't know. We were just judging each other's handwriting, and he was like, "Oh, I don't like the way that I don't like how tall the tail of the H is. No, that one's gotta go." I don't know. Just we're just making making things up.
Yeah. There's somebody who said, I mean, the handwriting is very personal, but it's also so much is typed. Yeah.
I feel like sometimes when I have to read like a card from like an older person and they write in cursive, I struggle sometimes. And then not my mom, but like older people are like, this is what's wrong with this generation. You can't even read cursive. I can read it. It's just sometimes it's just literally difficult.
That's why I hung up like a cursive alphabet in my room so people could decode. Because like I spend time like writing feedback on papers and essays and stuff. I was like, I want them to be able to read it. It's supposed to be a conversation. And they might just like look at it like, I can't do it.
Sometimes like the judge's notes for speech or just
handwritten ballots.
Just physically impossible.
Some of them they're just going really fast because even I struggle sometimes. Yeah.
Sometimes it's dark. Sometimes they don't have that much time.
True.
Yeah, it gets crazy. Last year, one of ours, it was for our short film. It was like you could barely tell what anyone said, but at the bottom in big letters they wrote "See you in Hollywood" on every single one of them.
That's all you need to know. You're good.
Yeah, we're like, okay, awesome. I guess, and I'm pretty sure that judge gave us a 2. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
So does it like just go like 3, 2, 1 for the grades?
1 is the best.
Yeah.
But it's not like first place. It's just the best rating. That used to confuse me. Like, why is it 1 if you're not in first?
So like there's a range of ones?
Kind of. So all the judges go to a training. And so, it's kind of like in wrestling, right? They have to like know what's the definition to award a point. So this is like, what does it mean to be like excellent and then like good and then like satisfactory? So it's supposed to be consistent, but anytime you're judging, it becomes, some subjective, interpretations in there. So, but yeah, we always want the comments to explain to us why they gave us a certain rating.
That one did not.
That one struggled. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that just threw me off. Like, see you in Hollywood, but anyway, are you like a judge? Like, could you go judge?
I can. I think I have to renew my certification. But most coaches can, just because, like, experience-wise. But no. So my role right now, like, in addition to being speech coach, I also am a district officer.
Oh yeah.
So at contests, I actually work, and it would be called into a room if there's ever like a questioning of a 4 rating, which is a disqualification. So I have to know the rule book pretty tight.
How do you get that?
Basically, you have to break a rule. So that's never good. But we've had students get disqualified before. But usually we know going into the contest we're taking a risk or a chance. It's possible a judge will interpret this in a way that gets you disqualified. How do you feel? And oftentimes our students want to push it. And when they get the 4, they said, we knew that was a possibility. It wasn't that their performance was bad, but
I feel like most of the time it's just because we went overtime.
Some of them are
That's
really
the only
strict like
time
that.
I've ever like heard.
You've seen them, yep. So we've had some in short film because they wanted a role of like an adult to be in it, and they, depending how you interpret, like you can't have an adult be a main character, and they felt like it wasn't a main character. I said the judge might interpret that they are. We've had time, especially in radio, it's very strict. Like you have to be between 4 and 5 minutes for individual, and on 5 and 6, I think.
Then you have to have like a certain amount, like.
Yep.
Like commercial.
Yep. So they were short on the commercial, so you had to have under 30 seconds or something like that, and it was really, really tight. So yeah, so those technicalities are just heartbreaking. We've had an individual storyteller who got disqualified because they didn't include the author in their introduction.
Oh no.
And it was written, and then just that day they performed it, they skipped over it. Total like
silly mistake,
silly accidental. So then as coaches we come back in meetings and we say, how do we best serve kids? And that's I think what I love best about the Iowa High School Speech Association is that it's always about what's going to help these students out the most. And so we come back and we revisit these rules. And so on behalf of Iowa Valley, I proposed a change to radio broadcasting because we had, we're wasting all our time timing a commercial when we could be, letting kids have fun and be creative. So we rewrote the rule so that way judges aren't worried about a stopwatch and they're worried about listening to what the kids have to say. We rewrote the storytelling rule to make sure that an introduction doesn't get an awesome story and an awesome storyteller disqualified. And so those changes go into effect that next year. And coaches can take that back and spark conversation and insight with those students. So that's been the coolest thing.
Change.
Yeah, absolutely.
In speech.
Yeah, so it's a great opportunity, I think. But yeah, so not a lot of English teachers also. So like, you don't have to have any sort of like coaching credentials to be a speech coach or a drama director, really. Mm-hmm. But I actually have a secondary endorsement in speech and theater communications, and partly because I wanted to be able to teach speech classes. And so I enjoy that. I love that we teach it with freshmen. I don't know if all freshmen share that sentiment, but I think like what you're doing right now in this communication and what we do, like even on like No Phones, New Friends Friday.
Oh, I love doing that. Unpopular opinion, I love doing that.
Which is fine, but like some of that conversation, some of that, like what you're doing, I think that takes you farther than, the tangible content that we preach and, try and help you learn. But I mean, I was at Iowa State originally because I wanted to become an architect. And it's a pretty competitive program, and I did okay because not necessarily my designs were so great, but because of the communication side of it. So which area will I, get to teach more students and have the payoff be so great, but in the communications field, whether it's reading, writing, speaking, listening, or viewing. So
something freshmen might not know. Speech class, not the same as speech.
I think
be similar.
I think we're getting that clarified.
Yeah.
I think we are.
For future people, 7th, 8th graders, 6th graders, I don't know who's listening. They're not the same.
They're not the same.
Both are great, but not the same.
And there's a lot of overlap too. Yeah.
I definitely thought they were the same.
Common misconception.
Yeah, from the get-go. But the overlap taking into like the fun side of like competitive speech, the overlap into broadcast lab. So like broadcast lab, I think, not to like compliment speech too much, but it was up and running really quick last year because you had members in the class who had already learned all of the editing and all the script writing and all the like nuances behind that when they did extracurricular. Yeah,
we weren't supposed to have a broadcast up until second semester.
Yeah, and it was rocking way before that.
Yeah.
And that was the experience that students brought to it, and that's cool, really. Yeah.
Anything else you got to add, Garrett?
I don't think so.
I think registration forms are open yet, so you can sign up through this week.
Yep. I'll think about it. I'll think long and hard.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys, for listening to our first episode of, I guess, kind of season 2, because it's like the next school year. Anyway, stay tuned for episodes. We'll see you guys later.